My name's Amber Samora. I'm with Inner City Action, and I've been here for about 10 years. Today, I just want to give you guys a quick little tour of what we have and what we do here at the Dream Center with Inner City Action. It's actually really hard to describe or just tell you, hey, this is what we do, a 9 to 5, and that's what it looks like, because we are literally 24/7, 365 in the glory of Jesus. And so, but I'll give you a quick tour of what we kind of have going on here. So this is Steven. He's our main security guy. He's our paperwork guy. Man, we have students that live on site across the street, and so this place is actually always alive and moving. And so anytime a student comes in, if they have to do like scheduling, anything like that, it goes to the front desk here, and that's kind of what we got going on here. And then we have, it's kind of cool because the same people that are in the, that are doing the office and administration, a lot of them are the people that are actually, that have come in or are in the program currently. And so they're learning like security job, administration skills, all kinds of cool stuff. And so the very same people that are in the ministry that have come into, whether it's from all kinds of different backgrounds, man, they find themselves doing all kinds of everyday stuff. So this is just, I don't know, I like pictures, and so I feel like, but these are just like some of the cool places that we've been, man. We've been all across the country, city to city. It's cool because we do tent revivals. We started about 2.5 years ago, and we just see people. It's crazy because like if you go in like a team, we'll take a team of about 10 to 15 people, and these guys literally, they lay their lives down for the sake of the gospel. These are people that have been serving the Lord for years and years and years, or they come fresh off of the streets, come out of addictions, come out of jail, all kinds of, any kind of story you could think of. What we see is just like people laying their lives down 365. They go across, they get in a van, go across country, and sometimes it's like, man, we're staying in hotels. Some days we're literally in parking lots washing our hair in sinks. And so it's like a balance between, you know, there's like this saying, it's like caviar on Sunday, crust on Tuesday. It's like we have to find a good balance between the two. And so we have like, these are our offices. This is Pastor Frank's office.
Well, I'm Frank Saldani with Inner City Action. I'm the founder and CEO of our ministry. And Inner City Action, the name pretty much tells you who we are, because we believe going into the inner cities. How we got here is the Lord said that the greatest revival you're going to see are going to come from the inner city. And so I also come from the inner city. I was born and raised in Oakland, California. So I got kicked out, came to Stockton, and just got wrapped up in drugs, and was homeless myself at one time, and I had an encounter with the Lord, narcotic investigation, people trying to kill me here in Stockton, and I called out in an empty apartment complex in Lodi, California, hiding out, people trying to kill me, and he met me there in such a powerful way. So that kind of began my journey, and then I joined a program called Master's Commission that radically changed my life. And then from there, I told myself I'm going to spend the rest of my life dedicating myself to reaching also those in the inner city. And the first place he sent me to is here in Stockton. This kind of birthed off, I was, somebody stopped one day and drove up and had a trailer full of stuff. I mean, it was almost like they had a yard sale, didn't know what to put the rest of the stuff. And I felt him already stop by in front of her house. I said, "Do you want this stuff?" And I was thinking, my wife doesn't want this junk in her house. But I thought clearly the Holy Spirit said, take it. And so we took it and sat on it for a while. And then the Lord said, go out to Stockton and give it away. And so we set up on a street corner, started giving stuff. People started to come. And there was a Lutheran building there that we asked if we can use it. And weeks later, we've seen 450 people come every single week for about a year, and give out clothes and food, you know, give out the gospel. So it kind of began our journey with about 12 students here in Stockton.
How you doing, everybody? My name is Jason. I've been with Inner City Action about 4 years now, and you know, I came here, basically I was broken. You know, I was addicted to drugs. You know, and out there on the street, you know, my parents didn't want me, you know, I was kicked out, and nobody wanted anything to do with me, you know, and I came here and I got an encounter with Jesus Christ, you know, with his love and the power of God, you know, and it changed my life. You know, there's a lot that I had to learn. I got discipled here, you know, I truly, you know, surrendered, and I learned so much. I learned how to walk with Christ. I learned how to move in the Spirit. I learned how to help people.
You know, those who are forgiven much love much. And one thing I realized, when they really get to encounter God's love, they feel there's grace and there's a love and mercy. I think when a lot of these guys, they're used to punishment. You commit a crime, you get punishment. And so even though they'll come here to do something wrong, we withheld the punishment, we show them love. And it just really rocks the world. So I think that's another way, just the mercy of God really transforms their life. So that's one thing. Trust is another thing. They've lost trust to family, they lost trust to everywhere. They don't even trust themselves. So giving them a new life, we always say that you begin, this is your first day, there's a white canvas for you, you're starting a new fresh day. So we give them, we don't treat them like criminals. We're not a homeless shelter. We tell them we're not a rehab. We're a place where if you want to have that encounter with the Lord, we're a place where you want a fresh new start. And we literally treat them like family.
My name is Stephen Waldrop. I'm 42 years old. I'm from Lathrop, California. I've been in Inner City Action about a year and a half, maybe 18 months. It's the best decision I ever did. Inner City, to me, was new life or redemption, you know. That second chance that I'm not gonna let pass me by. I'm gonna grab onto the plow, I'm gonna hold on, I'm gonna continue to plow and go where it takes me and submit to God, and His will be done, you know. These are the things I want from my life now, is His will be done. I did it my way for 42 years and it didn't get me nothing but a jail cell and a hospital room, you know. I was just lost. I spent my whole life in and out of jail, drug problems, broken homes, you know. I thought that was the life I was gonna lead. I was gonna die in that lifestyle. And one day I was in my cell and something just hit me like, you know, this is not the end of my story. This is not the end of my story. And something was telling me like, it's time to change my life. And something inside of me was just like, come home. And I was like, come home. You know, it's just an echo in my head, come home, come home. I was like, this has to be God talking to me. You know, it has to be God, because you know, I didn't grow up in the church at all, but I thought that I knew there was always a God looking out for me, because I had been shot. I was actually beat to death, passed away on the sidewalk, and they had to defibrillate me back to life because I was assaulted, and I had my skull crushed in, and they had to shock me back to life. God's always had His hand in my life, and I didn't really notice it, you know. So I get out of jail, and I come to Inner City Action about 2-3 days later, and I'll tell you, having God in your life is a high that I've never experienced until I came here. You know, it's almost indescribable. You know, it's that warm feeling. It's that true, secure feeling that you know your Father in heaven is. If He is for you, then who could be against you? You know, I mean, these are things I learned. If He is for you, then who could be against you? I just want to tell you, there's no high like the Most High, you know? I come to church and I started experiencing and having encounters with God, and it totally trumps any feeling I ever had on any drug, you know? I feel full. I feel love for the first time in my life, other than maybe like when I had my children. I really feel love. And to be a part of something like that, it's worth every second, you know, because we're ushering in revival, you know. And I didn't know what revival meant till I came here. And revival is to just bring back the Spirit of the Lord for the communities, helping the lost and the broken, which is what happened to me, you know. Revival happened to me. And putting up those revival tents is probably one of the most meaningful things I've ever done in my life.
tell you something. This is my experience revival. The Lord showed me a tent, that we would see 10 tents with 10 teams at the same time. Now, we thought it was going to be all of us, but we come to find out it wasn't just about our tents, that God has given us a gift of laboring.
This one's kind of special because this was our first ever tent revival. We had gotten a word from the Lord when we went to Azusa now, and the Lord's like, man, you guys are going to do tent ministries. And we had never done a tent ministry before. We never had put up a tent. I never went to a tent crusade in my life. And so when we put this one up, we're like, okay, we put it up for about a month, and every single day we had like a different speaker. Every single day we had different ministers, worship teams, and literally we saw that, like, that was the first time I ever went to a tent crusade, and it was absolutely wild. We saw healings, miracles, signs, wonders, and literally it's cool because a lot of these people, they're local churches, and we saw the local churches kind of come together for like reconciliation and all kinds of cool stuff. So this one is one of my favorite tents. It was like our first one. We had no idea what we were doing. We were putting it up, it was like the weather was crazy, all kinds of stuff. So it was cool. And then from there we took off across the country to New York for our second tent revival, and it was incredible. We saw the fire of God hit a city, and they were like, oh my gosh, we had no idea what we were doing. And then we saw like, oh Lord, this is really what you're doing. To see power, transformation, people come under the Holy Ghost fire, and we're like, man, all we did was cry out and say, God, we want to be your hands and feet. We want to go, and we want to see revival break out across America.
That we would go into a city a month or two ahead of time, plow the grounds, help get the permits to get this tent meeting going. We would go to churches and found out flyers on the streets, and to have a tent meeting. Then would come, you see a lot of unity there. You know, they're waiting for that encounter with a love encounter on a Sunday, but there's nothing greater than a love encounter with actually standing somebody that needs the mercy and the love. There's something when a soul's being saved, there is a love that's manifested in a cult. You know, when salvation takes place, every miracle takes place at that moment. You're talking about the broken of, not just washing of sin, the blood of Christ is number one, but there's also a deliverance, and the curse of sin is being broken. And he says, by his stripes I'm healed. So that salvation moment actually manifests in a culture everything that you need in that one instant.